Adam Schiff of California. He is the chairman of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence. Chairman Schiff, your reaction to much of what we just heard, but specifically the line Donald Trump saying, I think it's another Russia hoax.
Well, it seemed like he thinks I write his presidential daily brief. Look, it doesn't end up in the presidential daily brief if it's a hoax. Our intelligence community not only doesn't put hoaxes in his presidential daily brief, but rather it's the gold standard. When you're an intelligence analyst, you often measure your work product by the standard of, did it make it into the #1 customer's brief? Well, the White House doesn't deny that it was in his presidential daily brief. And so when the president says it didn't make it to his desk, he's just lying about it. Apparently, he's also lying about reading those briefs. But this is not a hoax. And the fact that the intelligence community is still looking for additional evidence doesn't make it a hoax. If we only relied on things that were signed, sealed, and delivered, of course, we wouldn't have taken out Osama bin Laden. We wouldn't do a great many things because you don't have perfect insight into everything. That's not the way the intelligence community works. But, Lawrence, it's not a surprise that he failed to bring this up with Vladimir Putin. The only way he's likely to bring it up, frankly, in these conversations in which he wants no witnesses, would be to say, hey, Putin, they say you're offering a bounty on my troops. I know you wouldn't do a thing like that. It's just another hoax. In fact, this is essentially the same thing that he did in Helsinki when he took Putin's side over his own intelligence agencies.
I want to note how important it is that these questions get asked more than once, because Jonathan Swan conducted a masterful interview with Donald Trump about this very subject, and he appeared on this program discussing it. We showed that questioning in full. And then Evan Donovan comes along a few days later and basically goes into the same territory, but gets new material, gets this piece of Donald Trump adding, it's a Russian hoax. All of which goes to, when you look at things like the impeachment investigation, the value of being able to get witnesses, including the value that it would have been to the Mueller report, for example, to get Donald Trump as a witness and to be able to ask questions from more than one angle, especially with a witness like Donald Trump and people who work for Donald Trump, because something new comes out every time.
Well, that's absolutely true. And, just to put a finer point on the matter, the reporter also, listed from the president once again the false claim that he's been tougher on Russia than anybody. Well, look, this is the same president who betrayed our allies in Syria, betrayed the people who have been fighting and dying next to American forces, which was a huge gift to Vladimir Putin. This is the same president that withheld hundreds of millions of dollars from our Ukrainian ally that is fighting Russia and has its people dying every week. This is the same president that, as I mentioned before, sided with Putin over his own intelligence agencies and calls Russia's systemic interference in our last election a hoax, and is doing nothing to stop Russia from interfering in the next election.
Nancy Pelosi expressed her dissatisfaction with an intelligence briefing today. She publicly said that the administration officials who briefed congressional leaders should be more forthcoming with the public and letting voters know what they know about Russia's attempted interference and current interference in our election process. What was your reaction to that?
The speaker is absolutely right. I think regrettably, the intelligence community administration are being very selective in what they are sharing with the public. And I think that's a deep disservice. The American people have a right to know what foreign nations are doing to interfere in our upcoming election. And there's nothing about sources and methods that would preclude the intelligence community from being straight with the public. They need to do it, and time is wasting. We are less than 100 days from the election, and we are about 50 days from the first absentee ballot voting. And the time is now to make a full accounting of the American people of what we are seeing, not only so they can be prepared, but also as a deterrent to nations like Russia that have a history of interfering in our presidential elections.
Congressman Schiff, when people ask me, what's going to happen in the presidential election in the past and even currently, what I do is I look at the polls, and if they're clear enough, I'll give them a prediction. What I say to people now is, well, Biden's going to win, but I don't know what the Russians are going to do. Meaning, that's my little footnote. I don't know if it's going to be a fair election. Do you know what the Russians are going to do?
Well, based on what they've done in the past, and, I can't go into what we're seeing and what they're doing in the present, but look, they will amplify themes that divide us. And here I'm greatly concerned that they will amplify the president's false statements about vote by mail. What better way to both serve Donald Trump and to divide the country and throw our election in potential chaos than to amplify the president's incessant and false statements about absentee voting. So I'm deeply concerned that this will be one of the Russian modalities to interfere, but there are many others. And we can be assured of one thing: Donald Trump will not stand up to Vladimir Putin in any way, will not discourage him, will not deter him. We're going to do everything in our power in Congress to do so, but that's my fear.
Chairman Adam Schiff, thank you once again for joining us once again tonight. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Lawrence.
Thank you.